This week on Goofing Off.
Kyle takes over Animate.
Zoe takes over Movie Snobs. All this and more on Goofing Off.
Hello and welcome to Goofing Off. I'm Kyla Wilfred.
And I'm Dominic Fraldi-Scaldi.
Say, Dominic, have you ever wondered what would happen if a demon worked at a fast food place?
I can't say the thought ever crossed my mind, but I bet the food would taste great.
I'm sure that it would. And that's just what Devil is a Part-Timer is about, which Kyle is covering next on Animate.
Hello anime fans, I'm Kyle Glockner and welcome to Animate. Today, I want to take a look at a series that's been around for a few years now, but every so often I find myself going back to have a good laugh every now and then. I'm talking about one of my favorite comedies of all time, The Devil is a Part-Timer. The Devil is a Part-Timer focuses on the lives of the Demon King and his subordinate Alciel as they live their lives as Sadao Mao and Ashia in modern-day Japan after escaping death from the hero Emilia. After getting by comfortably for some time, they realize that not only did Emilia follow them into the human world, but several other residents of their world. From there, hilarity ensues as we follow their day-to-day activities, from covering rent each month to doing damage control when something goes wrong. Now, I'm aware that this concept isn't completely new or original by any means. The stereotypical fantasy-type character goes to the real-world plot device has been used time and time again, but that's not to say that it's a bad plot device per se. Any rehashed plot element can be great as long as the characters have enough personality to make it interesting, and the characters of this show are phenomenal. While most shows like this might drop most of the initial character tropes after the first few episodes, this series keeps them going throughout and adds more quirky characters into the mix to keep things interesting. From one of Mao's subordinates essentially becoming a housewife to another turning into a shut-in gamer, the dynamic between the characters doesn't get old fast. While I personally enjoy the dialogue between Mao and his two subordinates, I'd have to say the interactions between Emilia and Mao are some of my favorite. While there's naturally a lot of tension between them in the beginning, they quickly realize that, while they're stuck in the human world, they can't really do anything about their personal grudges, so they agree to disagree and focus on surviving day to day. However, over time, you can see his experience start to humble both of them, and they realize that their battle ended once they entered the human world. It's a very interesting relationship that could have easily been taken in many other directions. Now, this 13-episode series is great and all, but it would be a shame not to mention the source material it was adapted from. Unlike many anime, The Devil's a Part-Timer was not adapted from a manga, but rather a light novel series, like Sword Art Online and Monogatari. The anime portion of the series only covers volumes 1 and 2, but there are currently 16 main volumes that have been released since 2011, with 6 of them being available in English as of this time. Without going into too much detail about the plot, I'll just say that I would give anything to get a second season of this show. Right from Volume 3, the characters start to develop more and form even better relationships with one another, and a few new characters that get introduced. The relationship between Mao and Emilia is developed even further, and having only read up through Volume 6, I can say it's still just as satisfying as watching the anime for the first time. Again, without giving away too much, let's just say that after a certain event in Volume 3, certain relationships develop in ways that really make you wish there was a second season of the anime. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like we'll be getting another adaptation. Since the anime's conclusion in 2013, there hasn't been any word about a second season, and going on 4 years of silence isn't looking good. Although, 18 years later, we still have more Dragon Ball, so anything's possible with anime, I guess. The Devil's a Part-Timer was produced by White Fox and directed by Naoto Hosada, while the original series was written by Satoshi Wagahara and illustrated by Oniki. While we may not be getting a second series for now, you can pick up the light novels as they get translated by Yen Press, or just rewatch the show for a good laugh every now and then. That's all the time I have for today, but let me know what you think by tweeting me at ZTV Goofing Off using the hashtag Animate. Until then, I'm Kyle Glockner, and I'll see you next time on Animate.
So Cameron has decided to start a new segment all about the history of certain characters.
Truthfully, all I want is a detailed history of Waluigi. Nothing but Waluigi.
Wah! But I think Cameron is talking about Mario.
Oh, close enough, I suppose. Here's Cameron with Retro Rewind.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Retro Rewind, where we talk about classic video games and see where they've been and where they are today. My name's Cameron Blenton, and today we'll be talking about everyone's favorite Italian plumber, Mario. Now, here's the funny thing. In 1981, Mario didn't exactly start out as Mario. He was known as Jumpman in the hit arcade game Donkey Kong. And what makes things even more hilarious is that the original Jumpman wasn't even supposed to be the hero of Donkey Kong. It was supposed to be Popeye the Sailor, Bluto, or Olive Oil. But due to licensing problems, Nintendo decided to create a brand new character, and thus, Mario was born. In actuality, Mario was really the villain of the story, being the antagonist of Donkey Kong. But that all changes later in 1983, where we come to meet Mario as the hero we all know and love. A guy in overalls jumping on turtles, going down pipes, riding dinosaurs, and saving the princess. Even though she's in another castle. Toad, why are you even there? Now, the characters we see today, they didn't have the same names as they did back in the day. Princess Peach was actually known as Princess Toadstool, and Bowser was King Koopa. Later, the names were changed to make them even more iconic. Oh, and those Bowsers you fight, where you have to either jump over them or run under them and use an axe to cut the bridge, those weren't Bowser or King Koopa. Those were just his minions. Go figure. As the games go on and a name starts to build, Nintendo starts to add more and more to the games, such as new powers, characters to play as, and new enemies. Then, in 1996, with a groundbreaking and sometimes game-breaking move, a full 3D world. After this, Nintendo uses a large amount of 3D worlds for Mario to explore, such as Mario Sunshine in 2002 and Mario Galaxy in 2007. Mario also appears in several spin-off games, such as 10 Mario Party games, 13 Mario Kart games, 2 Olympic games, 6 tennis games, several Smash Brothers games, a mobile game, and many, 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 many more. In total, Mario has appeared in over 200 games by now. Now, no franchise is perfect, and Mario is definitely no exception. In 1989, Nintendo had an animated TV show about Mario and his brother. Later on, in 1993, a movie was made following the brothers as they try and rescue Princess Daisy from King Koopa before he turns all the humans into monkeys. Yeah, not really sure where they were going with that one. Both of these adaptations were flops, and no one really wants to talk about them.
Hey, paisanos, it's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show! With the Mario Brothers and plumbing's a game.
And that includes me, so let's move on. This brings us to today with Mario Odyssey. A new world is waiting for Mario, where Bowser seems to be a popular figurehead, real people like us exist, there's a flying house, and most importantly is that either a spell was placed on Mario's hat, or he simply got a new one that looks exactly like his first one, except with a tiny change. In this game, Mario's hat is alive and is actually a usable item. Not much else is known about this Nintendo Switch game, and I'm actually hopefully optimistic about it.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about the Mario franchise? Is it a trend that needs to continue and change as it goes on, or does it eventually need to stop? Make sure to let me know on Twitter at ZTV Goofing Off, and be sure to use the hashtag RetroRewind. And I'll catch you guys on the rewind.
Where did Mikhaila go? I guess we'll be right back.
If you like what you see here on Goofing Off, be sure to like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on Twitter.
You're watching ZTV.
I heard that Mike is covering a super chilled out and relaxing game this week.
I've never played a Resident Evil game, but they don't sound chill or relaxing.
Well, but Resident Evil sounds... Yeah, no, that sounds evil, actually.
Yeah, it does. Well, we'll have to see if it's any good. Here's Mainstream Mike covering Resident Evil 7.
Hello everybody, I'm Mainstream Mike, your captain of the gaming mainstream, and welcome to Meet the Bakers, a charming family of swamp billies whose home you must traverse in order to save your wife, while also facing a plethora of other horrors. That's right, we're talking about Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. But this review is going to be a little different. I asked a couple of my fellow goofs to help me get different viewpoints on the game and see what they thought of it. So keep the lights on and enjoy while Chris and Kyle play Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
She keeps mumbling something about daddy.
What's going on, guys? I'm Chris.
Wait, hang on. Maybe you should put a little more time after I said that.
What's going on, guys? I'm Chris.
I'm Kyle.
And we are unfortunately playing Resident Evil 7.
Yes, which is, from what I've heard, a very good game. It looks amazing. So, we're gonna find out if all the hype really was correct.
Can't wait to scream like a little girl.
Oh, hi. Oh, hi. I can't stop moving. I can't stop moving. Oh, my. Hello. Is that Mia? Whoa.
She's got some
She just like
powers.
Anakin Skywalker like forced me. Oh, hi. Stop that.
Oh no.
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Resist. She's taking these axe hits like a pro.
I mean, I guess that's what happens to it.
Oh, well, not anymore.
No, she's
Not
doing it
anymore.
We're fine.
It's okay, it's me.
I don't think it's okay.
I know you didn't mean to hurt me.
You
shouldn't have done that!
Not doing well.
Oh!
Where did that come from?
Oh!
Oh yeah, get that out of your hand, please. No. I think you can pull it out for sure.
How do I do it? How do I do
I don't
it?
know, press it on. Touch button?
How do I do it?
You feel.
How do I do it?
Wait, she has a chainsaw?
Is it up here?
Oh, look up. Look up.
Oh man! Oh man!
You know.
Oh no! It's Walter White!
It's Dad!
Oh!
Where did she come from?
Oh! Oh, it's this guy.
Came to the wrong house.
Where is it?
Third one!
I'm blocking! Help!
Well,
Chris,
I'm sufficiently scared.
that was very spooky.
Yeah, as far as horror games go, graphics, plot, I mean, I don't just like from so far, scariness wise.
Yeah, like
It reminds me of Outlast, of like where you feel utterly helpless.
it
but, like, even
reminds
when-
me of PT.
Yeah, I'm like,
I don't like PT.
like at least you have a gun, but like, I don't like gun.
See, the more I dislike a horror game, the better I know that it is.
Yeah, the less I actually want to play it, for sure.
Yeah,
That,
so Resident Evil 7, probably.
one bloody stump up, for sure.
Yes.
One
Also,
stapled hand.
it's got one leg to stand on.
Yeah, one really good leg to stand on and one
Definitely give it a Resident Evil 7 out of 7.
sure thing.
Wouldn't
recommend, but you know, you should play it because it's scary and fun.
no mannequins. It's okay with me.
Yeah. And I'm Chris,
I'm Kyle.
and this was surely a treat.
Yes.
Personally.
Yes.
Capcom, you decided to take Resident Evil back to its roots with the ambiance of horror and dread. And for that, I salute you. So what did you guys think? Did you agree or disagree? And how did you like the episode? Be sure to tweet me at ZTV Goofing Off using the hashtag mainstream. So until next time, I'm Mainstream Mike saying, I'm gonna go to sleep with the lights on for a week. See you later, guys.
Just how old do you think a good cheap game has to be before it's considered outdated?
I mean, probably 10 years, and then at about 20 it becomes retro. Why do you ask?
Because the game I'm talking about next is pushing that line, but it's still one of my favorites.
Well, I'm sure if you like it, we will value your opinion on cheap games.
Thank you. Here's Games on a Budget covering Terraria. Hi everybody, I'm Dominic Fuibmelli and this is Games on a Budget. Every once in a while, a game comes out that just seems to withstand the test of time. Usually it's because these games have great replayability, a plethora of content, and are just really fun. One such game I'll be talking about today is the 2D pixel sandbox Terraria. Terraria has been around for a while and is probably best known as Minecraft's two-dimensional counterpart. The two games are certainly both in this survival sandbox genre, but aside from any obvious similarities like digging, building, and crafting, Terraria is undeniably unique. You start by creating your avatar with a series of color sliders and pixel hairstyles. You can really go wild with the customization, so if you want to create a bright green dude with a pink beard, then yeah, sure. After you've created, well, that, you can choose if you want to play on softcore, medium-core, or hardcore. These settings only change the penalty for when your character inevitably dies. The difficulty of the game is actually determined when you create your world. You can use one character to visit multiple worlds, and all of the items in your inventory will carry over. So if you happen to dislike how one was randomly generated, you could always just hop over to another. The game spawns you into the world with nothing but a set of copper tools and a random guy called the Guide. You'll be able to speak with the guide to get tips on what to do next or how to craft certain items. When you eventually create a safe house, probably to hide from the creatures that attack at the night, the guide will move in, and when you expand your base, you'll find that other NPCs make themselves at home as well. The NPCs will need separate rooms to live in, but eventually you can gather a whole town consisting of a merchant, a nurse, a demolitionist, and many more, all of which provide unique and helpful services. The progression in Terraria revolves almost entirely around what armor and weapons you're able to acquire, and there are a lot of armor and weapons. You'll start with standard gear like swords, bows, and pickaxes that slowly get upgraded. You might decide to trade your sword for a spear, or even wail on your enemies with a yo-yo. You can eventually replace your bows with any guns you find laying around, and can craft better pickaxes with the metal you find. You can even cast magic, if you find books and staves that allow you to do so. There are so many items to craft, you may need to figure out what you want to work towards, but eventually you'll be wielding legendary swords, casting powerful spells, or mowing down enemies with machine guns. You can even equip trinkets that allow you to climb on walls, run incredibly fast, or just flat out fly. It may sound entirely too powerful, but you'll find that you need all the firepower you can get when you come across what Terraria will throw at you. Aside from progressing through weapons and armor, there exist a plethora of bosses you're able to take on in the game. As you become stronger and defeat more bosses, the game will evolve to throw new things at you. It makes a world you may have already explored in its entirety feel more fluid and alive. Terraria was released in 2011, but its developers are still putting out free patches to tweak numbers, fix bugs, and add more free content. Its most recent update made it easier than ever to play with friends through the Steam interface. It was developed by Relogic and can be found on Steam for only $9.99. Know of any good cheap games? Like what I had for you today? Be sure to tweet at ZTV Goofing Off using the hashtag GOAB. Until next time, I'm Dominic Frisbisley, keeping your wallets full with games on a budget.
I think I need a coffee break.
Yeah, we should definitely do that right now.
You were hiding coffee from me?
No, we'll be right back.
I can't believe you.
If you like what you see here on Goofing Off, be sure to like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on Twitter.
You're watching ZTV.
I've had the soundtrack for La La Land stuck in my head since the first time I saw it.
Wait, don't spoil it for me. I still haven't seen it.
It's too bad. It's amazing. Definitely on the list of my favorite movies.
What?
Zoe's doing movie snobs next.
Hi everybody, it's Zoe here as your host for Movie Snobs. Today we are going to talk about, or should I say sing about, La La Land. La La Land landed with 14 Oscar nominations and was titled as one of the best movies of 2016. It's what everyone is still singing about in 2017. A movie hasn't gotten that many nominations since our beloved Titanic. La La Land was directed by Damien Chazelle and produced by Fred Berger. Justin Hurwitz created the music that everyone is singing, In the Rain. I've been singing in the shower, in my car, on the way to class, and even at work. Like a musical, there are many working hands backstage who helped create this wonderful masterpiece. I want to thank them for creating such an exciting musical. Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone definitely broke a leg on stage. Ryan Gosling plays Sebastian, who is a jazz pianist looking for work and has a dream to own his own jazz nightclub. Jazz is a dying genre, and he wants to bring a revival of the New Orleans tunes back to the world. Along his journey, he meets Mia, played by Emma Stone. Mia is an aspiring actress in Los Angeles who works at a coffee shop in Universal Studios. Between every steamed latte and croissants sold, she auditions for gigs as much as she can to get her big break. Mia and Sebastian work hard to better themselves while finding love at a pivotal point in their lives. One of my favorite parts of watching movies is seeing the on-screen chemistry between two actors. Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone are phenomenal partners. They look great together, the aesthetic is there, and the chemistry is real. Their previous movies, such as Crazy Stupid Love and Gangster Squad, have been home runs because of this as well. They make their love believable and give the audience a chance to feel it for themselves. I thought my heart was a part of the movie too while watching it. Especially with musicals, this is important because there's a different level of power that balances each other with song and dance. It's funny because while Gosling lacked the vocals, Stone did with her dancing shoes. They were not perfect, but overall their moves were smooth and their voices harmonized beautifully. A new trend I see growing in love movies is the realism. Even though watching a happily ever after romance is nice, the audience cannot fully connect with it. Seeing an actual relationship with ups and downs gives an audience a stronger in my shoes connection. Becoming an actress or world-renowned musician is not easy. La La Land shows how the starving artist fights for their big break. Mia and Sebastian want that for each other, but we see how love does not stop selfishness for their own wants and needs on their own path to success. The classic musicals we think of are Singing in the Rain, West Side Story, and The Young Girls of Rockefort. La La Land brings this style back to life. It's important for our youth to have an understanding of what musicals really were like back in the day. Some modern-day musicals do not pay homage to this style, which is super cool and inventive, but we can't forget the building blocks. With this comes my only one complaint. A lot of people are thinking that La La Land is something completely new and different. This isn't the case. It's simply a modern-day classical musical. This is important though because not many people want to watch movies that were made in the 50s or 60s, so it's smart to revamp what's not being watched anymore. This is awesome because as La La Land is doing this for the film world and its audiences, with revitalizing the classic musical art form, Sebastian is doing the same thing with jazz music in the movie. Keith, played by John Legend, appears later in the film as Sebastian's old friend proposing him with a job. Keith has a funky, fresh new vision for jazz to help him bring back jazz. Sebastian struggles with this, but realizes differences aren't always bad. We have all heard the term, a dream within a dream. This is a rebirth within a rebirth of musicals and jazz music. La La Land was a hit, or in musical terms, I would say a standing ovation. Well, I think it's time for intermission, so my time is up. But tweet me at ZTV Goofing Off with the hashtag Movie Snobs and tell me what you think about Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone's performance in La La Land. I'm Zoe, and I'll see you at the theaters.
It's amazing how much this show has changed since we started hosting. Brad's off doing a new show. Brendan gave Kyle Animate.
Zoe's doing Movie Snobs, Chris started a new show, and Cameron doesn't have that rash anymore.
I'm so proud of what everyone has become. Even Cameron, though I don't think we should have told the audience about the rash.
Oh, a fair point. Cameron's doing fine. Anyway, that's all the time we have for today.
Be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube account for extra content. I'm Michaela Welfred.
And I'm Dominic Frinkelberg. Thank you for taking the time to goof off with us. You start by creating your avatar with a series of color slidles and pixel hairstyles. I think I said slidles.
You said sliders.
And that just, my bad. The series of color slidles and, sliders. Slidles? With a series of color slidles.
Okay.
A series of color sliders.
All right, okay. All right, hold on a second.
This program was produced by ZTV at the University of Akron. To find out how you can make Emmy-winning media, visit the UA School of Communication online. ZTV. Make media. Make a difference.